Okay, there's a new product I've been testing launching on Indiegogo today, and I think it's worth checking out. In fact, by the time you see this video, it should be live and ready to back. I'm talking about the AIO-5 Lite by Chigee, a device which brings Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Google Maps, dash cams, blind spot monitoring, plus a whole heap more to your motorcycle. If you want to go check out the AIO-5 right now, I'll leave direct links in the description below. And as I said, it's launching today with a whopping 38% discount for early backers. Is it worth pursuing? Well, it's a very well made unit. I have it in my hands. It's not vaporware, but there are a couple of things that still need to be finished, like the Chigee Go app required for downloading and viewing files from the dash cams. If you'd like to see what my experience was like with the AIO-5 and how I came to my conclusions, stick around to see how it all played out. Morning viewers, today is product review day, and for today I've got an interesting little product that I said yes to reviewing because it's got some pretty unique features. Now, of late I've actually been saying no to a few products because they tend to be little reward for a lot of effort, but in this case this product really piqued my curiosity, and the product I'm talking about is the AIO-5 from Chigee, or by Chigee. The other thing that initially got me interested in this product was the fact that it's reportedly got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now, they're the two things I see reviewers most complain about when they review TFT screens on bikes. And they always say it's great, but I wish it had Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This unit reportedly has both. Okay, so we've got instructions, good. And here's the actual unit. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention, dash cams. So it has front and rear cameras that feed a signal to this display that you can record as a dash cam. And it also has blind spot monitoring as well. Okay, so that's obviously how the mount goes together. So I'd say these two boxes, A and B, will have cables and things in them. Okay, so there's the contents of box B. So we've got a handlebar clamp, some cables, Chigee sticker, Chigee tie downs, and some tools and a Velcro, some double-sided tape, 3M double-sided tape for obviously mounting the cameras. And in box A we have a keyring, we have some cables, and we have here, looks like a some sort of sender unit. So here we go, optional accessories, tyre pressure monitoring. If you want tyre pressure monitoring, you have to buy a tyre pressure sensor. Now there's a built-in tyre pressure sensor which goes into the actual hub, and here's one that looks like it is an external one, so it must go over the valve stem to send a signal. So I didn't know that was an option, but apparently you can do that. There you go. Now another optional accessory is OBD. By installing the wireless Bluetooth OBD module, you can read real-time engine data, wheel speed, engine RPM, coolant temperature, throttle position, and air intake temperature. Again, these are optional accessories. Now looks like I don't have any of that in this box here, so I won't have access to any of that. This could be what they mean by the AIO-5 Lite. I'm wondering if there's an option where it gives you everything that you need in the box if you don't go for the Lite option. It appears you also need to get the Chigee Go app, and that's obviously how you interface with the device. The app will give you access to the album, camera, video editing, exporting files, etc. The size is 137 by 79 by 27 millimeters. So you can see it's not a very big display, but if you're doing a custom bike, this would be ideal, and you didn't want to have to worry about speedos and tachos and just have everything in one sort of display. This would be a good option. I was a bit worried about when I got this unit that I was going to have to start wiring into my bike and hooking into the OBD scanner and things like that, but obviously this is just a light version. So what's it going to give me other than dash cam? Because I won't be able to read speed unless it does it via GPS. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when I start testing this and to see what it actually does. Okay, so I'm now at the install section of the AIO-5 display setup, and this is a really nice finished piece this. It's aluminium, feels like it's aluminium, and that obviously clamps onto the handlebars, and then the back of the unit goes in here. So that's the back of the actual display unit. Now construction wise, this is a really nice bit of kit. This feels very solid, very sturdy, and it's got a nice ball head sort of attachment to it. Now I've had a look at my bike. I do have one issue. When you do get the unit, you get 3 sizes, and this is the size for my handlebars, which will be an insert that goes in here. The only problem is I don't really have a lot of space on my handlebars to fit the unit. Let's go out to the garage and I'll show what I'm talking about. So here's my bike, there are my handlebars, and as you can see, my display takes up the space where you would probably mount this attachment to normally. I can't go around here at all, that's all sort of one piece. So I'm going to have to try and mount it probably somewhere around here. That might work. Maybe I'll have it closer, maybe this side might be better. Mount it in close there and have the display sticking out that way. Alright, either that or maybe up on the side of the handlebars, but then, or actually it could even go up here. That'd work. That's another option as well. So that'd be right up in my eye line. I'll have to think about where I'm going to install it, but let's find a spot and fit it to the bike. Now we've got these little indents, if you can see there, and there's also a raised piece on here. I don't know if you can see that. Just on here is a little raised step-up piece. So that's going to have to key into that when I'm putting these together. Now I'm just loosening this off. I don't know if you can hear this. It's got a ratchet. So each position locks into place, which is really nice. These little tools come with the unit, which is good. Okay, I'm really impressed. That went together a lot easier and better than I thought it would. I was able to just fit that clamp down here, and with the arm that can be rotated with the locking steps, I was able to just rotate that arm across here. Then with having the ball joint on that actual display is brilliant, because I could then, angle it exactly where I want it. Got a little bit of a gap between my display, and yeah, it's gone on really, really well. So this is what it looks like from my riding position. Next step is to find a location for the cameras now, and then hook it up to the battery, I presume. I'll have to go through the instructions and have a look, but yeah, super impressed with this unit. The build quality and the construction so far feels excellent. That's a really nice sturdy aluminium bracket. The way that just can be pivoted and locked to any position. Look, I haven't got much room there, and I think it actually looks all right in that location. And having the fairing there, it's protected, but it's fully weatherproof, so it doesn't matter if you've got a naked bike. This would be fine as well. Okay, so the next step is the find a location for the cameras. I've got everything out of the box. There's our two 1080p cameras, and this is everything other than what's already installed on the bike. So the only thing that's worrying me is accessory lead. I've got to find an accessory lead to connect this cable to, the yellow cable to, and I wonder if that's what these are for, to because it looks like they puncture a cable, so I'd put the yellow cable in here and then clamp it onto the accessory lead. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, looking at these, there's provision for 2 cables in there, so I reckon what will happen is I'll put the yellow cable in here, attach this, loop it over an existing cable, an accessory cable. When I close this bracket here, it's going to press this metal piece down on both of the wires, which will then form that circuit, bridge that circuit across those two. So I reckon that's what's going to happen. I'm not keen on that because I'm actually puncturing the accessory wire, but yeah, that's probably going to be the simplest way of doing it. As always, these things are never straightforward and easy. Well, to be honest, this is very straightforward and easy so far. The only challenging bit I can see is that accessory lead. So let's find a spot for the cameras and then worry about that accessory lead when we get to it. Okay, I think I got it. For the rear, what I'll do is I'll just pop this down about here, just double side tape it onto the guard there. And for the front, I'm going to try and put the camera right about here. So it's just sticking out from the screen, and I think that'll work. The screen shouldn't interfere with it. The lens is clear of the screen, so I think that'll work really well. I'm just thinking about that accessory cable. I think the accessory cable will be so that when I turn the ignition on, then it will power the unit on. And when I turn the ignition off and turn the power off to the bike, then the power will go off to the GPS unit as well, so it's not draining the battery. So yeah, that's a must. I'm going to have to hook that up. So that's good. So I've got a good spot for the cameras, and I think I can set it up, even this is just for testing, but even for testing, set it up so that everything's pretty discreet and hidden and out of the way, so which is good. Okay, we're a few days in now, and I'm now ready to officially begin testing. Let me show you where I'm at. Rear camera's hooked up, cable runs through there, under the seat, up along here to the front of the bike where it comes into the screen. I've got the GPS antenna located there. This is the Chigee GPS antenna. The actual Indian GPS antenna is located under here, so I know that's going to be a good spot for it. Keep in mind the way I've got this all set up is temporary and purely for testing purposes. If I was going to fit this to my bike, I would run all the wiring under the tank and hide all the wiring, but I just wanted to get it on the bike just to test it. The excess wiring is just bunched up in front of the handlebars there at the moment, just behind the screen. And one other thing I have done is install this little 12-volt switch. So rather than tap the accessory lead straight into an accessory wire on the bike somewhere, just splice it in. I didn't want to do that because this is just a temporary installation. I wired that switch to the battery, because if I just turn the bike on to accessories, the headlights on, everything's on, and it's just draining the battery. This way I can set the unit up, test it, without having the bike on. I've just got to remember to turn that switch off when I finish all my testing. But thankfully this switch has a little LED light on it so I can see if it's on. So let's turn it on now. Okay, switching on, little LED light tells me it's on, and the unit is booting up. I'd say it probably takes about 10 seconds to boot up. Once it's booted up, we have speed. So the speed will be coming from GPS, as will compass direction. We have tyre pressure monitoring, but that's if you get the optional tyre pressure monitors, or if your bike has them already fitted, then you can get that data from those. Here we have CarLink. This is where we'll hook up Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Video, if we hit that, we'll see that's the front camera. Just see if I can adjust that. And the resolution looks pretty good actually. It's a pretty nice screen, and nice and bright too. The test will be outside in the sunlight, of course. And then if we tap the screen, we can switch to rear camera. So that's our rear camera, and then switch back, and that's the front camera. You can see we've got a little inset. That's the rear camera inset there. Do we get that when we switch? Yeah, here's the front camera inset here as well. We have a meter here. What does that do? Okay, it just switches to a different type of display. Now, you see here we have speed, and do we have tacho? No, we don't have tacho. So I initially thought that was tachometer, but it looks like it's just speed. Now, this engine temp, throttle position, all that sort of stuff will be coming from the unit if you have the optional OBD scanner attached to your bike. So that's an option. Now this is the light version. This will give you most of the functionality of the unit, but if you want the full functionality, then you'll need to get the optional extras and the optional accessories. You're getting most of the functionality with the light version. It's just that you won't be able to do tyre pressure monitoring, engine temp and a few things like that with the OBD accessory plug-in. Now, the other thing too is there is a remote control that you could fit to the handlebars, and I think that might be a good idea because I'm not sure, I haven't tested how the touchscreen is going to go with gloves. So now you also can control the unit with these buttons across the top here, and I think the first one is home, the second one is CarPlay, Android Auto. The third one should be dash cam recording, stopping and starting. That's recording when it's flashing. Okay, so now I'm going to try and pair my phone to the car link and see what happens. Hopefully it's Bluetooth. I'm pretty sure it's Bluetooth, and I don't need to hook a cable up like you used to have to do with Android Auto. Let's connect my phone and see what happens. Welcome. All right, you can see that. Welcome to Android Auto. Continue. Okay, now there's a map there. YouTube Music. Okay, it looks like we're now paired. Great. So if I go to Android Auto on my phone, so you can log into YouTube Music and listen to YouTube Music. That's pretty cool. I like that idea. If you like listening to music while you're riding. Go to Maps. So we have Maps. Okay, so now I can listen to music and use Android Auto for maps. I wonder if I can put a map direction into Google Maps on my phone and it shows up on the display. Okay, that's pretty cool. I just put some map directions into my phone just using Google Maps, and there it is on the display, automatically linked up. So that's really cool. You can use Google Maps, have waypoints and all sorts of things put in there, or whatever you can do on Google Maps, and it's just reflected straight onto your display using Android Auto. So that's brilliant. I really like that. All right, I think the next test now is just go for a ride. We'll test the cameras out, test the video recording, see what that's like, and see what the video quality is like. I'm curious to see how the screen goes in full sunlight. Now, I don't have my headset set up in my helmet, so I can't test that, but I know it's going to work. It's just going to, the quality of the audio is going to be dictated by the headphones and the earphones and the unit you've got, and I have no doubt that's going to work, no problems at all. Phone paired really quick and easily. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a very useful little unit. Okay, just pulled up at Edmond, and how did it go? The first ride with the Chigee AIO-5. Well, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the unit. I think it worked pretty well. The only thing I would like to do is just up the brightness a little bit. It's just a little bit dim, but then I did have my sunglasses on, so let's switch it on with my handy dandy little switch, and I'm so glad I put that on because I can just sit here and play with the unit without the battery being drained, with all the Chief's accessories being on and the headlight being on. It's just this little unit comes on. So I think if I was going to install this on my bike full time, I would still have that switch and just turn it off and on with the switch. I think that's a better way of doing it myself. Okay, so it's just telling me when safe. Now what I want to do is finish later. I want to see if I can bump up the brightness of this screen. When you compare it to the brightness of this screen, it's very comparable when you're riding. But let's see if I can bump up the brightness. Brightness. What's that? Oh, automatic, is it? Okay. Is that going up and down, up or down or not? I can't tell. I think it is. Let's try that full brightness, and oh, is that volume? I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh no, there's brightness. Okay, that's brightness. What's this then? What's this? Touch. And I don't know what these may be backgrounds, are they? Let's try that. Oh yeah, so that's a background, okay. I don't like that. Yeah, that's not bad. What do you think? That background rather than black? I think that actually looks better than just having black. Yeah, I think I like that, having a bit of colour on there. Let's try that. Okay, now that BRT, what's this do? So I reckon that's auto brightness. Well, I'm just going to leave it at full. Not sure what this BRT... Oh yeah, it's a button sound, okay. BRT, button sound. All right, so that's better. I like it quieter. Okay, so that worked pretty well. Now I did test the glove as I was writing, and I could press the screen, press record, and start and stop as I was writing, which is great. I could switch cameras, and it looks like you can switch cameras while you're writing and while it's recording. So going to be interesting to test and see how that goes when I get the file back onto the computer for editing. But I like that I can just, as I'm writing, just switch from camera to camera, front to back. So that worked well. Now I think I may have to just adjust the rotation on this a little bit, just angle-wise, front or back. One of them's a little bit, yeah, I think it's this one. This one just needs to be rotated around a little bit to make it level. But otherwise, yeah, that's pretty good. Now my speed, I think, was pretty accurate to what I was seeing on my speedo. So even at walking pace, the speed seemed pretty accurate. It was a little bit of a delay. Obviously it's getting its speed from the GPS data. We'll just turn the bike on so you can compare the screen brightness from the standard display to this display. Looking at the white here, this does look brighter, but let's go home. Yeah, I reckon this is brighter. Now this is at max brightness, so I did have no problems reading that in full sunlight as I was writing, but yeah, looking at it here now, this is definitely brighter. So, but having said that, I could see what was going on there, no problems at all, and I was wearing sunglasses. Now the last trip, it tells me I just did 18.3 kilometres, and go back, and took 43 minutes. So there you go. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it's 43 minutes from when the bike's been running. And this is what I like, I can just turn this off. So, because every time I turn the bike on here, it's turning the headlight on. Now this can stay off, and I can just muck around with this and doing settings and things by having that little switch. So that worked really well. And then if I go to my car link, okay, it's asking me to unlock my phone. All right, so I'm not going to do that. So that's still staying paired, so that's good. Well, overall so far, I'm fairly impressed, to the point where I think I'm seriously considering keeping this on my Chief. Like even just to record videos as I'm writing, that would be handy to have cameras just set up full time front and rear. I don't need it because with the Chief I've got GPS, maps and everything, Bluetooth. I can listen to music from my phone. Everything's already on there with my Chief, so I don't really need it. But just those few little features that it does have, yeah, I'm thinking that's pretty good little unit. Now, would I miss the OBD functionality? No, not really. It's just gone, it just restarted for some reason. Now, I don't know why it did that. It just restarted itself. I don't know why. Interesting. Right, I'm going to turn it off to save my battery. I've just switched the power off, and you watch, it will just turn off and shut itself down over a few seconds. Okay, so what do I reckon? Would I keep this on my bike? Possibly, possibly. I like the way it looks. I like the size of it. It's a nice size, I reckon. It's not too big, but it's big enough to read the information that's on the screen. I like its build quality. It feels really sturdy and really well built. I like the way it just sort of sits in just above the display there. I think it sort of works in quite well. I like being able to record the front and rear camera and just switch from one to the other as I'm writing. I'm not sure if that little picture-in-picture window is going to be baked into the video file, or if you can turn that off. So I'll have to have a look and see what I can do there. The speed and compass direction, all that sort of stuff I've got, but having Android Auto and having my Google Maps sort of set up with waypoints and things like that, can you do waypoints? I know I do have, yeah, you can put in waypoints on Google Maps. Yeah, I've done that before. So having that functionality would be a boost, and it seems to connect really easily and stay connected. I'll see. I'll have to think about that now. My plan was to probably sell it, and I may still do that if I don't plan to keep it, but yeah. Okay, so who else could I see this being for? Well, if you've got like a Harley and you don't have that GPS functionality, you don't have, well, obviously not going to have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, that sort of bike, a cruiser, a sport bike, really any bike could really use the functionality that this device offers. For me personally, I wouldn't worry about the OBD plug-in, and I wouldn't worry about the remote either. I was thinking at the start that you'd need a remote, but I don't think you do, because I was just touching the screen with my gloves on as I was riding and it wasn't a problem. I did have to give it a little bit more firmer press, but it worked. If I just gave a little bit firmer press, it worked every time. So that's fine. I wouldn't need a remote. I tell you what, if you're doing a custom bike where you're building something up and you don't have a speedo or anything sorted or organised, this would make a nice little display that you could set up on your bike and do away with speedos and things like that. In that case, then I would go the OBD plug-in to get all the data like engine temperature or whatever it is that little OBD scanner provides. Yeah, I think it'd be a great accessory for someone who's looking for extra functionality on their bike. Also, someone building a custom bike, or even if your bike's got a speedo which is, say, mounted on the tank, and you wanted to have your speedo up a bit higher, you could mount that up a bit higher on your handlebars or wherever, and it just glance down at your speed rather than have to look down at the tank all the time. That would also be a good reason to have this sort of device along with the functionality of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I'm at the point now where I have to ask the question, would I recommend this device? That's something I couldn't do unless I'd used it for quite a while. Really gave it a good test, but you know, I think it's worth exploring and worth trying it out if you think you might get the benefit from all the features that it provides. I'll leave a link to the website so you can see what the costings and pricings are, and there should be a discount code for you guys. I can't remember if I'm getting a discount code or not. If there is, look in the description below, and or I'll put it in the video right here, discount code if you want to buy one for yourself. From the limited use I've had with it, just installing it, I wish that it came with the option of USB or hardwiring into your motorcycle. In my case, I just hooked up the positive and negative leads to the battery, and the accessory lead, rather than splice it into the bike, I've just hooked that to the positive terminal of the battery and put a switch in the line there so that I can just turn it off and on to protect my battery, obviously. And you'll know if the unit's on because you'll see it's all lit up, and it's just a case of hitting that switch and she's off. So yeah, all right, I'm sort of rambling on. Yeah, I think I like the unit. I like the way it works. I like its functionality. I like its build quality. And I think I'll just leave it at that. And you know, you can decide whether it's right for you or not. All right, I think that'll do it for this video. It'll probably be a bit of a longer video by the time I get it edited. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Also, thank you for your continued support. And until next time, bye for now.